that one. And he won't. Freeman walked and scored the first run of the game. Won't walk here. This one is popped up. Going over is Sogard. He's got room, and he makes the play. First inning, batted balls, exit velocity. So we had 107, and we had a 96. The point is 4 for 7, 2 walks, 4 runs. They'd had no hits in the 7 innings of yesterday's second game and 1 hit in the first. That is fireworks by the Brave standards. That was a little Korchin-esque. You see what I did there with it's catching. We're spending too much time together in close proximity.
Marcel wanted that one.
This one to left, and it's going to be in the yard. Chris Bryant takes a few steps back and brings it in. What a difference in innings. He faced the minimum 3 after facing 9 in the first. ESPN's telecast of Major League Baseball, presented by USAA, is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, I play this song. But watch what happens when I play it backwards.
Eat 3-topping stuffed crust backwards.
The original stuffed crust, just $11.99. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Remember when driving was fun? It was an act of freedom, an inspiration. But somewhere along the line, cars just got boring. You deserve a car that thrills you. Like sports cars with 3 pedals, trucks that take you to incredible places, colorful crossovers, and cars loaded with technology. And there's a car company that believes that too. One that has been delivering thrills for over 80 years. This is the new Nissan.
Oh, maybe nobody was hearing me. Oh. No. Well, I guess we're fine then. We don't have to worry about it.
The ballpark is better when we're all here together. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Join the team and help us all get back to doing what we love together.
Every Sunday night. It's baseball for all of us. Mets, Phillies. Give us Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN.
A surprisingly poor start for the Twins, just 7-13 on the year. They led Cleveland 2-0 in the 6th. When Tito's boys break through, Eddie Rosario's second hit of the game brings home Cesar Hernandez, and then the next batter, Franmil Reyes, delivers. RBI single that brings home Rosario. Baseball's newest speed demon, coming off that 2-triple week, has just tied the game. Ravi, it's 2-2 in the 7th.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, the Franimal has found a new level of speed.
This guy has... Wait, who is this? Oh, is this Charlie Morton?
Yesterday, legging out a triple off the
Charlie Morton is amazing.
And he has been
an amazing baseball player.
Interview on the field when he's the star of the game to sing to the crowd. Franmil Reyes did it in San Diego.
Sogard, Davies, and then top of the order. We start the top of the 3rd.
Ooh, Chris Weidman, Calkins return. Ooh.
1-1.
Chris Weidman's a beast.
A couple years ago,
and he's a Long Island kid.
Whole face of baseball.
I'm gonna light up my candle.
Continue to pop up as face of baseball.
Full moon is the scent.
Now, he's had a nice little career, but I'm not certain that if you were to take the poll today, given the rise of some of the young players, that Eric Sogard would crack the top 5. That's strike 3 on the outside corner. Paint from
good pitch.
97.
Very good pitch.
Sogard shaking his head as he goes.
Very good pitch.
The concourse is full. We've got people eating some food. And we can remind everybody to download the MLB app, get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch breaking news, player updates, your stat leaderboards, and a whole lot more on your favorite team and the rest of the league. Download the MLB app.
Ooh, great pitch. You know what that reminds me of? You guys ever see the movie The Rookie?
Very efficient.
Where he goes, the reporter goes, "Hey, Jim, what 3 pitches did you throw to get that strikeout?" And he goes, "Fastball."
One misses down at
fastball.
95. Morton working very quickly.
Fastball.
The inability of Davies in the first inning to be able to locate his fastball, and that 2-seamer just was not able to get Braves.
Oh, now we got the guy with the saxophone upstairs. He's playing so loud I can hear it through my noise canceling headphones. Don't you just love that? All right, Anika's here. So let's get rid of this. What's up?
Hi.
Did you hear the me playing the baseball game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hear your neighbor with his lovely skill set.
All right. Well, we got wannabe Kenny G. We got wannabe Kenny G. Okay. So, how's everything? Good?
Good. You can't see my laundry, right? I have
No,
laundry hanging behind me.
Can you see mine?
No.
You can see my towel.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, it's clean. It's clean. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I got home and I was like, I'm so hungry. I need to eat something ASAP. And of course, what I was making, I was like, oh, it's not going to take that long. And by the time the oven preheats and everything, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Hold on a second. I want to stall for a couple minutes just to see something here. I just need to FaceTime my girlfriend real quick. We have an issue. I'll explain it. You'll gather it in a minute. Hey, so we have a problem. You need to come down to sign the lease this weekend. This Saturday. This Saturday.
Why not Sunday?
I can ask her about Sunday.
We had said we were going to do Sunday in the evening.
Okay. Let me ask her. Fuck. Hold on.
I'm down this weekend, but I much prefer to do it Sunday. Well, or Saturday, but again, it would have to be in the evening.
Yeah. I won't get home until 7. I won't get to Mineola until like 7:30. So you want to tell her if we could do it this Saturday at 8 o'clock? Or do you want me to ask her about Sunday?
Either one. Ask her if you could do evening. It doesn't matter to me either way, because I could always come down right after my cousin's wedding.
Which would you prefer?
I guess Saturday.
Okay. Let's do it this coming Saturday. How does 7:45? How does 8-ish sound? I want to give myself time to get back from the city. Okay, I'll take care of it. I'll call you later if I need to. Okay. Bye. Okay, so Michelle and I are moving in together.
Yeah, you said that, which is exciting.
So Yeah, so we looked at a place. We looked at a place in Mineola this past weekend, and we really liked it. And it was affordable. So we did all the applications and whatnot. I'm gonna probably tell my roommate tonight when he gets home. And we're not moving in until June. And so the game plan is going to be Michelle has so much stuff going on the next couple weekends that we were going to sign the lease on May 8th, but not actually occupy the unit until June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess the agent and I got confused, and she thought I meant we were going to sign it this coming Saturday. So I said, she was like, oh, she sent me an email saying, oh, I'll be there. I'll see you this Saturday. I'm like, wait. I thought we were doing next Saturday. She's like, no, it's this Saturday. The landlord doesn't want to wait. I'm like, fuck, if we're going to lose this apartment because we can't find the time to sign the lease.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So I just told Michelle, like, you're going to have to come down here. I don't know what to tell you. Either you come down here or we don't get this apartment. So yeah, I just have to tell my roommate that June 1st I am moving out.
Okay.
So I hopefully he doesn't take it the wrong way, because I'm giving him, more than a month's notice. So
yeah, I mean,
we'll do that. What I mean, do you think I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give your roommate notice. I don't know when your lease is like up for that apartment.
Well, we don't really have a lease.
Oh, so it's more like month to month.
Yeah, like we don't even have an agreement. It's just like he puts an envelope on our door at the end, near the end of the month, and he's like, all right, it's got to be in my mailbox by the 1st. Like he'll drop.
So I think that's fair enough then. You're giving him over a month to let him know to either find somebody or then he can find a new place, whatever he wants.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an awesome spot right near the train station. It's maybe like a 20-minute walk, which will be nice. He'll get some exercise in every day. And it'll be closer to the city for Michelle until she starts her new job.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll be working at I forgot what I was going to say. She's getting a job at Roosevelt Field.
Okay, so that'll be even better then.
Hold on. She said, any possibility during the evening, weekdays, or this weekend? I just responded to the email. We can do this Saturday at 8 p.m. if that's okay. All right, so let's jump into it. Let me just pull up what I had written up. Okay. So today we are going to talk about self-care. So for those of you that are listening that don't know what self-care is, Anika, why don't you explain to them a little bit about what self-care is?
So self-care, it kind of is the way that you show compassion and love for yourself, right? I think that's like the easiest way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about like, how do I take care of all aspects of myself, mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, right? And without like gratification from other people, without doing so for like anyone else's gain but my own.
Right. It's exactly what the term is, right? Like taking care of yourself, self-care, things that you do for yourself that make you feel good without like that you can give yourself recognition for, things that you don't need other people to give you the recognition for doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that that's kind of what you were getting at?
Yeah, and you know, self-care can look different for everyone, so there's no like right or wrong necessarily, right?
Right.
Obviously, in terms of self-care, there are healthy and unhealthy things that we can be doing, right? And so we want to be obviously focusing on healthy things we can be doing,
Right.
because I think that that's important to kind of like think about too. Like some people, they'll say, you know, their self-care is, you know, drinking wine at night or something, right? And like that may be self-care for somebody that doesn't have a problem with alcohol, right?
Right.
But again, it's kind of teetering on a fine line. So just thinking about some of that, and are there healthier options that maybe don't have to do with any sort of substance?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, what one person, like you were saying, what one person does for self-care may not necessarily work for the next person. You don't want to yuck someone's yum, if you will. I learned that one from a close friend of mine.
Yuck somebody's yum. I have not heard that one.
So like if I told you
I like it.
I love grape juice and you said I hate grape juice, it's disgusting, I would say don't yuck my yum.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, all the things that you're doing for self-care, all the coping skills that you're implementing, the things that you're doing, whatnot, if it's helping you get towards your goal, then that's good. That's a good thing. You don't want to do something that will create more problems than it would solve.
Yeah. And I think
like drinking if you're in recovery.
I think the other thing, excuse me, with self-care is like, it's also an activity that should be like relaxing, enjoyable, like somewhat beneficial for you, you know, like without it being like a task to check off, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's, you know, I came up with a list of things. I looked at some websites and, you know, read some stuff that, that experts have said are good ways to practice good self-care. One of the first ones that I noticed was that a lot of people are saying was fuel your brain and body with healthy food, right? Keeping your blood sugar stable will obviously will translate to keeping a stable mood. It improves your concentration. Your energy will be, it'll maintain your energy levels. Right. Eating healthy foods makes you feel good too. Right.
Yeah.
You ever eat like some really like Chinese food that's like really greasy, or you go to McDonald's and you get like a Big Mac and fries. After you eat it, you feel sluggish. You don't want to do anything. But if you eat a really good, healthy meal, you'll feel energized by the time you're done.
Yeah. And, you know, I think the other thing with eating properly, right? Like hangry is real.
Yeah.
Right. Like people have emotional responses to being hungry. And like, if we don't nourish our bodies with foods that are nutritious and like the better building blocks, right? Because like we could choose crappy food too, but like, it's not going to serve our body as well as nutritious food.
Right. Well, one of the things that I remember learning about is the acronym HALT. One of the great ways of practicing good self-care is to be mindful of this acronym HALT. So HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So if you could make sure you are not any of those four things, then you're practicing good self-care.
Yeah.
So the next thing on the list that we had that I found was having fun and relaxing every day, right? It's important to find ways to have fun and relax without drugs or alcohol. Right. Fill your time with fun activities, hobbies to reduce stress, things to promote fun and relaxation. Right. So for me, one of the things that I love to do that helps me to relax, and it's quite honestly, it's a hobby of mine, is archery. Right. I spoke about it in previous episodes. And I've said it in previous episodes, one of the reasons why I love it so much is because practicing good archery form requires you to be 100% in control of your breathing. Right? So when you're pulling back the bow, you're taking a big deep breath in, and then as you hold, you're slowly exhaling, right? And as you start to exhale, you get more relaxed, and then the shot just fires away, right? Also, it forces you, like when you're standing on the shooting line and you're staring at your target, it kind of zones you in. I like that feeling of being zoned in. And when you're with a bunch of people that enjoy the same hobby as you, it's just easier to socialize. Is there anything like that you do? I mean, maybe not archery, but like, is there something that you do that promotes relaxation?
Yeah, I mean, like I would say some of the hobbies that I definitely have are cooking,
Okay.
like going hiking. I like to read a lot, do a lot of meditation, yoga.
You know what's interesting? That you love to cook, and so do I, but I love to eat. So if you love to cook and you like to eat and you can make healthy food, then you're 2 steps ahead of the game.
Yeah, well, I told you yesterday I was meal prepping, so I was actually making like a vegetarian quinoa bowl that had like quinoa, like mixed greens, roasted sweet potatoes, chickpeas, almonds, feta cheese, and the dressing's basically just lemon juice. And so it's low calorie. It has a lot of protein, but that's plant-based protein. And you get a good mix of different veggies and carbs.
Are you a vegetarian or are you vegan?
I'm neither, actually.
Okay.
I eat everything, but I do cook a lot of vegetarian food just because of, like, I think plant-based meals do make you feel a little better. And again, it's not for everyone, obviously, but trying to swap out some of the meat can be helpful.
And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't a lot of food from Indian culture like vegetarian in nature because they don't believe in eating meat?
Yeah, well, so culturally, like a lot of Indians that are Hindu in particular, they don't eat meat really because of their religious and cultural beliefs. So they do have a lot of vegetarian dishes.
Okay. If you want a really good vegetarian dish, specifically one for breakfast, one of the things that my ex used to make, and I actually started making, it's basically like a spinach and feta quiche, but you make it with egg whites instead of the full egg, and then the crust is slices of sweet potato.
Oh.
So you just literally just peel a sweet potato, cut it into slices. You put them in the bottom of like a sheet pan or like a pie pan or whatever. And then you just saute some spinach and onions and garlic. And then you mix it with feta cheese. And then you sprinkle that into the pan. Then you just dump the egg whites on top and you bake it in the oven until...
I'm going to have to try that. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And then if you want, like, you can spice it up with like chili pepper flakes or, some cayenne pepper. Another thing that I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to do like overnight oats.
Oh, I've done those before. I was like on an overnight oats kick for a while. I get into like 2-week spurts. I'll do it all the time and then I stop.
Yeah, so tonight I'm going to do like they were saying, like, do like all these different types of seeds, like flax seeds and chia seeds. I'm like, I'm not about that. I'm just going to do a little bit of peanut butter, some strawberries, and then the oats and the milk, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
So moving on, the next thing on the list that that I read is it's very, very important that you get plenty of sleep. Getting adequate, good quality sleep is super important to practicing self-care, especially, when you're in recovery. And when we say getting plenty of sleep, I'm not saying sleeping like 12 hours a day, right? I'm not talking about like sleep, going to bed at like 3 a.m, then sleeping till like 2 p.m, and then starting your day. Unless that's your work schedule, right? And you have to, you work nights and you have to sleep during the day. But again, 12 hours is a little excessive.
Yeah, you want to be somewhere like they generally say between 7 and 9 is like the sweet spot for most people. Again, there are people that need 10 hours, people that only need 6 hours, but between 7 and 9, typically most people fall into. And even within that, you should play around with that range a little, because each person is like their body composition and their needs are slightly different. Women actually need more sleep than men, by the way, about half an hour more.
That's funny because I always wake up before Michelle, but that's besides the point. I remember I heard what you said about like depending on how old you are. I remember seeing a chart a while ago that said like teenagers need like need almost like close to 10 hours, and like seniors only need like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like when I see my dad's up there, he's like in his mid to, I think he's in his mid 60s now. He as soon as he sits in a chair, he could fall asleep. It's crazy.
Well, and sometimes I wonder too if like older people, because sometimes they nap during the day or they kind of like doze off, then maybe they don't like need as much sleep at night. And
that's
like
a good point. I didn't even
teens,
think of that.
Their brains are still developing and they're going through a lot of like hormonal changes and shifts. So like they probably need more sleep.
That's interesting. I didn't even think of it like that. Because when I saw the chart, I just said like, I was like, oh, teenagers need more, seniors need less. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll just go with that. But I never really thought about why. So that's good.
But yeah, and just making sure too, like your quality of sleep. So like we talk about sleep hygiene, right? And I talk a lot about this with my clients too, who are like, I can't sleep. And I'm like, I totally understand. But you know, like making sure that the atmosphere is correct, right? So like it's like between like 60, I believe at like 62 and 68 degrees is like the ideal temperature to sleep, somewhere around there. Making sure your room's dark, it's quiet. You like don't look at screens, your phone, TV, computers, iPads, whatever, you know, for like an hour before you go to sleep, because again, it's producing this artificial light that kind of sends signals to your brain of like, well, don't fall asleep yet. It's not time. So doing things like that, anything like relaxing. So for some people, taking like a warm shower or bath.
Yeah, I like to, you know, if I am, it's weird because like if I'm when I'm home, I don't like to do anything in my room. Like I don't like to do anything in bed. Like if I'm gonna watch, for example, if I'm gonna watch TV, I'm gonna watch TV in my living room.
That's a good habit to have.
And I'll explain why. You hear this Kenny G guy. Now see, if I was going to sleep, maybe that might be a little soothing, but now it's kind of annoying. But one of the reasons why I really only like to watch TV in my living room is because I want my bed to be associated with sleep. So if I want to start winding down and I'm in the living room watching TV, I may turn off the TV and read a little bit, or you know, I might read something while I'm on the couch, and then that way when it's time to go to bed, I could just get into bed, and it'll take me maybe 10-15 minutes to fall asleep, you know, after I plug my phone in, I set the alarm, and you know, I do all that stuff. Sometimes I have the salt lamp. I keep that on the far end of the room. And you know, so that way it's not near my eyes, it's not, you know, irritating to me, and I just drift off to sleep. So but like I said, it's really important that you associate your bed with sleep. So like for example, if you're really depressed, sometimes you're not even getting out of bed, you're eating in bed, you're only getting out of bed to use the bathroom. So when it's at the end of the day, when it's time to go to bed, you've been in bed all day, you're not tired, you're not associating your bed with sleep, you're not going to get good quality sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. The next thing is staying mindful. Being mindful of physical sensations and mental states really does help you to stay focused on, you know, being able to regulate your emotions a little bit better, right? So one of the things that you learn, that I learned in my DBT class, because they stress mindfulness so much in DBT, Like when you feel yourself getting angry or when you feel yourself getting anxious, like what do you feel like in your body? Like, do you feel your body temp? You feel yourself heating up, right? Do you feel yourself getting tense in the shoulders? Your fists are clenching. You're curling your toes. You know what I mean? The hairs on the back of your neck are standing up. Like physical body changes, right? If you're mindful of that and you're aware, like you feel those things happening, you're like, oh, I'm getting a little hot. I'm getting tense in the shoulders. I'm starting to feel angry. I need to do something to de-escalate. Or I'm having, when it comes to mental stuff, like if you notice that your thoughts are starting to race, you feel your body heating up. You're like, oh, I feel like I'm feeling the beginnings of an anxiety attack or a panic attack. I need to do something to make sure that it doesn't go like full-blown panic attack where I'm completely out of commission.
Yeah. And that's that mind-body connection, right? And like being
Right.
really becoming more aware, because again, a lot of us like aren't recognizing those things right away.
Mm-hmm.
It takes practice, and mindfulness is a practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no mastery. It's always practice.
Right. One of the other things that I really like to, this guy with the saxophone, I can't. But one of the things that's really important is setting healthy boundaries with friends. And this person, I'll just read it directly from this article because he says it perfectly. Before getting sober, you probably had a group of people you spent a lot of time with that either encouraged your drug use or alcohol use or even used with you. When you make the decision to get sober, it can affect the relationships you have with those people. As difficult as it is, cutting off communication with these people is going to help you resist the temptation to go back to using your drug of choice. Self-care is about protecting yourself and your sobriety. Being open about the fact that you're living a sober lifestyle is important because it lets people around you know that you aren't going to be drinking or using drugs with them anymore. Setting boundaries regarding who you spend time with, where you go, and what you do will help you avoid situations that could set you up for a relapse. In sobriety, you'll have plenty of opportunities to form new relationships with people who are also in recovery, which I think was a great way to end that little thing.
Mm-hmm. And who said that? Who's our author of the article?
I don't know off the top of my head because I copy and pasted it, but I can send you the articles. I just copied and pasted things from a bunch of different stuff. I could find the article and get back to you on that. But this kind of gets into like people, places, and things, right?
Yeah.
And when you live in a small town,
it's hard to get away from people.
It's hard to get right. So when you constantly associate with people, is that a motorcycle?
I have no clue. It was definitely on my end though. Somebody on the street out here. I don't know. I don't know if that was a car or a motorcycle. I'm not sure.
It sounded like a cow mooing. It just sounded like
I can tell you though, I don't live that far out in the sticks that there's cows mooing.
But getting back to what we were talking about, when you live in a small town or when you constantly associate with the same people, they're the ones that encourage your drug use, right? They're the ones that even drink with you or use with you. So when you set that boundary with them, like, I can't be around you right now because I'm in recovery. Maybe once I'm a little bit more stable, once I am more stable in my recovery, maybe we could be friends later down the road. Then they have to make that choice that, okay, well, is it worth, do I want to wait for this person to be more comfortable hanging out with me? Do I still want to be this person's friend? A lot of times people only want to be friends with you while you're using because you have drugs. Sometimes people only want to be your friend because they need something from you.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is that I think some of those friendships are not real friendships based on mutual trust, understanding, opening up, sharing, hopes, fears, common interests that are beneficial and helping you grow, right? So like a lot of these are like what we'll call like, using friends or like, drinking friends, because they're people that just kind of enable the behavior because they're in their own addiction too, right? And so once you take the drugs and alcohol away, is there really true friendship there?
I would say, maybe the types of people you should be associating yourself with when you're in recovery are, maybe family and friends that you've developed strong relationships with before you started drinking or using, as well as the people that you meet while you're in recovery.
Yeah. Anyone that's really supportive of the choice that you made to get sober or stay sober.
Right. And even if it's the type of person that's like, all right, well, we'll see if you actually do it this time. You know what I mean? Like, even then, like they still want you to be sober. It's just they don't know if it's long lasting yet.
Yeah, they're a little hesitant.
Right. The last thing that I have here is, I think, one of the most important things is it's very, very important when practicing good self-care that you take time to be by yourself. You could go to, 3 meetings a day. You could have a therapist. You could have a psychiatrist. You could have a sponsor. You could have recovery friends. You could be in a Tuesday night archery league like I am. You could be, in a yoga class. You could do all of these things, but it's okay to be by yourself at times.
Well, and I think that's one of the hardest things for a lot of people, whether we're talking recovery or not, right? But like being comfortable within your own skin, sitting with your own thoughts instead of running away from them can be really scary. Right. And so again, that's something that like you have to practice and you have to work on. Most of us, it doesn't come naturally.
And, we understand that can be difficult for some people, like you were saying, because being alone with your own thoughts was what got you into using or drinking in the first place. So, maybe in early recovery, it may be more conducive to the recovery process to involve yourself in as many recovery related activities as possible, like going to meetings, having a sponsor, doing all that types of stuff. But as you get more comfortable being by yourself, take that time. Spend a few hours a week, exploring new places by yourself, doing things that you never thought you would have done before. Go to a restaurant and have dinner by yourself. You never see people doing that anymore because everyone, when, a lot of people associate going out to eat, they think going with someone. Go to Roosevelt Field, get a table in the food court and just sit there and eat by yourself and just people watch. That's one of my favorite things to do. Sometimes, and you're going to laugh at this, this may sound kind of disgusting. One of the things that I love to do is, it gives me time to separate from work, or I do some of my best reflecting in the bathroom. Not gonna lie. Because, and I encourage this all the time. Like I tell my patients, if you're at work or you're at home or you're somewhere, you're in a social situation where you don't feel comfortable, just excuse yourself and go to the bathroom. And one of the reasons why I do this is because it's socially acceptable, or it's socially understood, that when you're in the bathroom, you don't want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
So even if you're not going to actually use the toilet, or, just sit there, take a few minutes and compose yourself. And then when you're ready, go back to doing whatever it is that you were doing. Because like I said, people know that you don't want to be disturbed. You don't want to be spoken to when you're in the bathroom.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time too. I'm like if you're starting to notice your body's feeling anxious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to the bathroom and try, doing like boxed or squared breathing, right? And so like try doing that breathing technique and see if it helps, right?
That's the one that you did in our meditation episode, right?
Yeah.
Which episode is that?
I think we just did diaphragmatic. I don't think we did box breathing, but we'll do that on a future one for sure.
Ooh, good one. Okay. Let's do that.
But that technique, again, you could even do it when you're sitting around people. But again, in the beginning, sometimes it's helpful. Remove yourself from the situation, go to the bathroom, try a breathing technique, type in your notes section what you're feeling in your phone, right? Just so like you can be, again, present and mindful, and then you can always go back.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the most amazing things is I don't want to say amazing, but like very interesting is like when you first start doing all of these things, especially when you haven't done any of this stuff ever, people are going to look at you and they're going to be like, what is this guy doing? This is weird. You know what I mean? Like if you are constantly going out with your friends, going out to eat, going to the mall, going to a baseball games, doing all this stuff, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take some time and be with myself. Your friends are going to be like, that's weird. Like, what are you doing? And that's going to take a little bit of getting used to from your friends. But if you tell them that I'm in recovery and this is something that I need to do to improve my mental state, like it's something I need to do for myself, and they're supportive of your recovery, they'll understand and they'll give you that time.
Yeah.
You just have to get over that FOMO.
Yeah. And again, being like learning to be by yourself, right? And like with your own thoughts and things like that, like sometimes it melds into some of the other stuff. So like it could be during an activity. Like for me, like personally, like when I'm doing yoga, like there's nothing else there. Like and I feel like you probably feel that about archery, right? Like when you're in the moment, it's like anything else I was thinking about like doesn't exist anymore. And I'm just so conscious of like how my body and my breath are moving together. And like, I feel like I can just be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so like, if you find an activity that does that for you, right? Like that's something you want to hold on to.
Yeah. I mean, when you're at like a major archery competition, there's hundreds of people on the shooting line with you. Like if I could show you like video from these competitions, it's insane. But like when you're standing on the shooting line, you have like a little space on that line, and no one is allowed to intrude on that space while you're shooting. Granted, they're still in your peripheral vision. As a left-handed shooter, this is just a little sidebar, but like most, if not, there's a very small percentage of people that shoot archery left-handed. Everybody shoots right-handed. So when I'm standing on the shooting line and I'm standing next to a right-handed shooter, I'm looking them in the eye. Right? Now, for them, it's a major psych out because they're used to looking straight ahead at someone's back. So if I'm shooting against them, if I'm trying to beat them, that's all like I just get in their head. Like I'm staring at you while you're shooting. And that's perfectly fine because I'm not touching you. But for me, I'm used to it. I'm used to having someone stare at me while I'm shooting because I'm left-handed and there's not that many of us. But anyway, when you're in that little space and you know that no one can intrude on that space, it really allows you to focus on your breathing, on your target, so that you can just and shoot. And that's one of the things I love, and that's why I'll never stop doing archery. Whether it's competing or just for fun, whether it's outdoors, indoors, whatever. Can you think of anything else that would be good for practicing self-care? Like things that you can do like in recovery, like that are outside of the norm, like outside of like going to meetings, being in therapy and stuff like that?
Well, I think having a creative outlet of some sort, even if you don't think of yourself as creative, right? So like I like to think of it on multiple fronts. So like doing something creative, whether it's writing, journaling, painting, drawing, creating music, whatever.
Podcasting.
Yeah. And anything creative, because it gets a certain part of your brain working, right? Then I like to think about, okay, what other realms can we delve into to like have part of our self-care? And so something that is spiritual, even if you're not a spiritual person, right? So like it could be religion if that's your jam, right? Or it could be something like some people are really into like nature or crystals. Go for it. Whatever works for you, it doesn't matter. But like think about like addressing different parts of your brain that and who you are as a person, right? That you wouldn't normally really think about. So your physical body too, right? And so that's why exercise, some sort of movement, is important. Your intellect, am I stimulating myself with something? So do I go to museums? Do I read books? Do I experience new cultures? Do I travel? Something that does that too. And so thinking about like creating like a multifaceted plan for yourself of what self-care and growth looks like.
I like that idea you're talking about traveling and doing stuff, like do stuff, get creative, do things that are not, that you're not normally used to, not so far out of your comfort zone that you're so overwhelmed that you can't handle it. But like, try a restaurant that you've always been thinking about.
Yeah. Like you've never eaten Vietnamese food, go try Vietnamese food.
Can I tell you, I remember the first time I ever had Indian food. I loved it. Granted, I only had, I think it was like butter chicken or tikka masala, whatever it is. I mean, that's American Indian food. But what's funny is this guy on TikTok, he does like these videos making like different Indian dishes, and it looks so good. I love it looks like it smells amazing and tastes amazing. Yeah. So also, just get in your car, get on the bus, get on the train, go somewhere that you've never been before, and like find a museum that you've never been to. Go like take a walk on the beach. Like if you don't live near a beach, go to a beach and take a walk. Go to a park, sit on a swing.
Be in nature.
Be in nature.
Get fresh air or something. Like even if you live in a city, like go to like a green space or a park.
And being in nature, what I think is really cool about that is it can really help you with, your mindfulness skills, right? You can like, what do you hear when you're in the woods? What can you see? What can you feel? Like, what are you feeling? Like, are you feeling the wind on your face? Are you feeling the leaves beneath your feet? Can you smell the leaves? Like stuff like that.
Engaging your five senses.
Engaging. Right. Exactly. Another thing that you can do, that I always used to do to teach my patients mindfulness is I give them a Tootsie Roll. And obviously I tell them, don't do anything with this Tootsie Roll until I tell you, because it's part of the activity. If you eat it, I'm going to ask you to leave. And normally the older adults usually can handle this, but the kids sometimes have a difficult time. But I tell them, unwrap the Tootsie Roll slowly. How does the wrapper feel in your hand? What does the wrapper sound like? Right? When you take the Tootsie Roll out of the wrapper, what does the Tootsie Roll feel like? Smell it. What does the Tootsie Roll smell like? Put it on your tongue, and just close your mouth. What does it feel like? What do those sensations feel like? What does it taste like? Can you smell anything? Roll the Tootsie Roll around in your mouth. Chew on it. Like, it teaches you to be in tune with all of these things. And I tell them, be as descriptive as possible.
Yeah. It's so funny because I used to do that, but I did it with York peppermint patties
Okay.
because they have such a strong sensation.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll also do it with people that like tea.
Okay.
Tea drinkers. Do it with a
Okay.
cup of tea.
I mean, I usually end up giving that, like, because they're so, like, oh, they got a whole band up there now. Oh my God.
I know. I'm hearing it.
Oh. I usually end up giving them more Tootsie Rolls after because I know, like, for them, like, they can, by the end of the activity, they can grasp the point of it. Like, they get what I'm trying to do. And as a sense of, I like to reward them by being able to make it through the whole activity. I give them a couple more Tootsie Rolls and let them go crazy. But, those are just some things you can do to practice mindfulness. Maybe we could do like when we do the meditation thing, we could, the next meditation episode, we can do some mindfulness activities. And maybe, we can get some of my friends from the Odd Pod community. That's the group of the group of us on Twitter that like do podcasts and stuff like that. Like we have like a group chat going. Maybe we can get some of them to join us, and you can kind of guide them through the mindfulness thing or the meditation thing on stream, so they could see a bunch of us doing it at one time.
Yeah,
that would be so cool. What's the other thing I was going to say? So for those of you, the 0 viewers that we have right now that are watching us, we have a bunch of guests lined up. We've been talking to Brian and Vito from Sober Dudes. Those are some awesome people that I linked up with when I first started the Sober Highway. This was even before Anika. This was back when the Sober Highway was just an Instagram page. And they're really cool peoples over there. We're also talking to the Recovery Survey podcast. They wanna come on and do something with us. And then we're talking to, I think it's Podcast Papa Steve. That's his username on Matchmaker. But he does a podcast about his son, like his process with his son in recovery. It's all about like being a parent of someone who's in recovery. So like those are some pretty cool guests. And you said you were talking to a bunch of people, right? You're trying to get a couple people in.
I'm trying to get a couple of people in, see what will work for them. So there's somebody that's does a lot of family recovery work and like how it affects the family. So I'm trying to connect with her. Mm-hmm. I reached out to somebody. I still haven't heard anything. I'm going to reach out again to be a little stalkerish in terms of somebody else that does like alternative therapies. So, we think about like, animal therapy, art therapy, things like that too.
I'm going to talk to my one of my very close friends. She's actually a veterinarian. So maybe if she knows of anyone who does like equine therapy or pet therapy, maybe she can put us in contact with someone.
Yeah.
And we can do that. Also, I reached out to this guy on Instagram. He's known as Cody.io. He did an interview with our buddy Tim McCarthy over on the 22 Minutes podcast, which I have yet to listen to. I'm really excited to listen to that tomorrow on my commute to work. But he is I believe he's we're going to cut this stream in a few minutes because this is
you don't like the background music? We have some theme music going on.
Well, for you, it's different because you're just hearing it through your headphones. Yeah. I'm hearing it outside of my headphones, so it's kind of distracting me from what's going on. So anyway, so Cody is, I believe he's a liver failure survivor. Like I think he had, I think he might have even had liver cancer. I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, let me look him up right now. This guy's the man. He's so cool. I really hope we can get him on the podcast. Cody IO, liver failure survivor. Yeah. So he talks about he'll talk about his recovery journey, and he's doing so many different things. And we want to learn about all that. So please stay tuned. We actually, this past week, we just crossed over 250 downloads. So we are at 255 right now. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we can get ourselves over 300, which would be insane.
Yeah.
We want to thank everybody that's listened to us so far.
Yeah. We really appreciate it. Any feedback you have, we'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas you have, anything that you might be interested in, either like, oh, hey, it'd be really cool if you did an episode on this, or you think we're missing something, you think we're doing something really well, whatever it is, just let us know.
If there's someone, if you know someone who is a recovery expert or has something to offer to the recovery community that you think would be amazing for our listeners to hear about, reach out to us. Let us know who these people are so we can get them on the podcast, interview them, and we can share that amazing knowledge with everybody else. I know that we normally do. At one point we did do a movie recommendation and a song recommendation. I think for this week I am going to recommend, because we did the Demi Lovato stream last week. Please go out and watch that documentary series. That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was excellent.
I will put the link for the YouTube documentary in the episode description, and also check out her album. Anika, I listened to this album. It is fantastic.
I have not listened to the whole album. I listened to a couple songs.
It's amazing. It really does tell an amazing story. And it's called Dancing with the Devil: The Art of Starting Over, which is the title of her documentary. You hear some of the songs in the documentary. So, if you watch the documentary and then listen to the album, you'll kind of be like, oh, now I remember where that song is from. So check out what Demi's doing with that documentary and that album. I know that she was in the news a little bit recently about like her stuff related to the eating disorder with the yogurt shop and whatnot. I don't even want to get into that because maybe we'll get into it next week. Our Demi segment, because we've been talking about her a lot. But for now, just check out the documentary, listen to the album. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I think more importantly, at some point we will probably do an episode on eating disorders and things like that, which will not be Debbie related, but just in general for people, because that is definitely like a concern. And there's a lot of co-occurring disorders and substance abuse and eating disorders and things like that. So I think that we'll definitely at some point do an episode talking about that.
And last thing before we go, if you are watching if you are watching the stream right now, which is nobody, but if you're listening to the stream right now, I need you to go on TikTok, download the TikTok app, look at my videos in which I am calling out AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys. We want him on this podcast so bad. Reach out to him on all of his social medias and blow his DMs up, blow up his comments, and tell him we want you on the Sober Highway podcast. I will make I'm actually going to record. You know what? Check this out. I'm going to record a TikTok right now while we're on the live stream. I believe this is day 17. Hold on a sec.
Oh, so we passed Sweet 16 already?
Yeah. We're coming up to day 17 now. Okay. What's going on, everybody? This is Dan from the Sober Highway, just checking in with... Fuck, I messed it up. I forgot to set it to a 60-day video. What's going on, everybody? This is Dan from the Sober Highway, just checking in. We're actually in the middle of our live stream right now. I'm going to play it leave the recording in from the live stream so that you can hear it when you listen to our episode, which is going live on Tuesday. But this is day 17 of asking AJ McLean of the Backstreet Boys to come on the Sober Highway podcast. If you're watching this video, I need you to like it. I need you to comment and tag AJ. Tell him you want him to come on the show. Go on all of his social medias, blow up his DMs, comment, tag him or whatever you can, and tell him that you want him to come on the Sober Highway podcast. Thanks, and have a great night. There we go. I'll upload that as soon as we're done.
Sounds good.
How freaking sick would that be if we get him? Because I will not.
Cool.
I will not stop until we get him. So just think about.
It's going to be day 234.
I don't care if I have to do this for years. I will not stop until I get AJ McLean of the Backstreet Boys on our podcast. That is our goal. And so with that being said, think about how cool it would be to have you and me and AJ McLean right in the middle of us on the podcast. How cool would that be?
It would. It would be really cool.
Okay. So again, if you're listening to the podcast, blow up AJ's social medias. Tell him you want him on the Sober Highway podcast right now. Please go do it. So I think that is going to be all. Make sure to check out our sponsors, Brainwashed Coffee Company. Go to brainwashedcoffeeco.com. Use the promo code Sober Highway checkout. You'll get 20% off your coffee order. If you buy 3 or more bags, you'll get free shipping, which is awesome. And it's decently priced, good tasting coffee. Go check that out. Also check out Fukitt Clothing. I'm going to put the link for them in our episode bio when the episode goes live, but it's also in the description of the live stream. Click on that link, use the promo code Sober Highway at checkout, and you'll get a nice discount on your order. I think that's it.
Yep.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope. I think that it is time for me to do some self-care now.
Yeah, I actually need to I'm going to have a quick little bite for dinner, and then I am going to prepare my overnight oats, and then I'm going to start getting ready for bed as well.
Yeah. It is
All right.
self-care time.
Yeah, I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I was playing those video games before.
What games were you playing?
I was playing this game called Fall Guys.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a newer game, and it's basically like, I would equate it to, it's like those Mario Party like mini game style type games, but like you're playing against like 50 to 60 other people, which is kind of cool. If you have like an Xbox or a PlayStation, you should definitely play it. It's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So everyone stay tuned for when the episode goes live tomorrow morning. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to download the recording, start editing, and it should be good to go by 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right, everybody.
Till next time.
Bye. Okay.